This is Lord Thaddeus Cray, and this time I'm going to be talking slightly of the darker side of elements. And what I mean by this is simple. I have explained about angels, both normal and fallen. I have also explained about giants, which are connected to them in many, many ways, throughout history as well as many cultures and not incarnations, but translations, I think is the proper term. I'm going to go ahead and get straight to the point. What I'm going to be talking about is demons. Demonic entities. Beings that supposedly tempt, as well as that of steal, kill, and destroy, at least according to Christianity, as well as other Judaic beliefs. Now, what exactly is it these things do? Well, it's obvious. They make our lives hell, pun intended. Their intent and design is to do one thing, and that is to sift us as wheat. They desire to destroy us in any way, shape, or form. They desire our souls. They desire to literally just any horrible thing you want to think about, they'll do it. And do I believe they exist? Yes. Go ahead and look at my video about my own experiences, and you'll know how I see things on that. Just leaving that out there. You have to understand, these creatures or entities, we cannot face them on our own. You have to have help. It's just that simple. You are dealing with beings that are as old as time itself, if not older. You got to remember one thing. What are they exactly? That's what I wonder myself. Are they the fallen ones that were cast down? I definitely think that's among them. Do I think that the giants, the disembodied spirits that were so twisted that either hell or heaven, until the time comes for Christ's return, won't take them? Yeah, I think that's definitely among it. But you have to understand something. A demon originally is of the Greek term, which means basically something divine or extremely powerful, and is designed to divide. That definitely is what demons do. They definitely have a divine origin, even if it is definitely evil and fallen. There's no doubt about that. And they definitely desire to do whatever they can to completely end us. I definitely believe that from the bottom of my heart. However, can they be stopped? Do they have limits? Yes, I'm telling you that now. They cannot force a person against their will to allow possession, and this is, or to possess them. They cannot they can literally not possess your soul or your body unless you give them permission, is what I'm trying to get across. That in itself, of course, is a given. However, they're masters of trickery and deception. They can definitely they appeal to our carnal desires, and that is how, of course, they step past our normal boundaries and wreak havoc in our lives and definitely destroy everything they touch. That is one thing one must understand when it comes to dealing with any type of fallen host or dark host. You have to remember one thing. This one must speak is key. What was around before the light? This is all the way back to Genesis. The darkness. In the beginning, there was darkness. Of course, God has always been, yes. But before light came, and he broke the darkness with said light. You have to remember that. This is why I'm saying it's best to definitely be aware. Keep your thoughts as best you can towards the light. Even the Bible itself says, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, think on these things. Now, I have a hard time with that sometimes, but believe me, it's best to do so where you can. They are drawn to negativity like a moth to fire. Or flame, I should say. It's just fact. So how does one combat them? Well, the fact is, when you're dealing with something like this, you have to simply know where your faith lies. Now, I believe personally in the power of Christ. However, some people may not. But whatever it is, you have to keep your mind as clean as possible, as well as pure as possible, if you can. And us being human beings, that ain't going to happen too much. This is why I'm saying you're going to need help. Whether it be a man of God or even your own faith, you have to be aware of these things. And in doing that, I promise you, you will be able to keep them out of your life. You will be able to keep these horrific monstrosities from tearing everything you love apart, including you. This is what I'm trying to get across in this one video. It's a little bit more than theory. I do feel that I am being kind of nudged in this direction to tell you that you can definitely beat the darkness around you. These creatures they're infinitely powerful compared to us, but compared to the power of the light, they are nothing. They're less than nothing. But you have to be aware of it. Stay in the light, as an old saying is. And that's true. You have to stay in the light. If you do that, I guarantee you, you will definitely live not a perfect life, but you will definitely live a decent and fulfilled life compared to what could and will happen if you embrace the darkness. I'm just going to leave that out there. Now, I'm going to bring different types up. Of course, Judeo-Christianity is not the only type that has demons. There are others. You have other types. One I'm going to bring up is actually what is known as the yokai, or the kappa. These are elemental beings that, of course, seem to cause the same kind of problems that Western knowledge of demons do. There are many Eastern types. Even, of course, with India, they have similar beings. A lot of these kind of creatures are bound with elemental destruction and shape-shifting and all of this types of things. Think about this. Of course, mentioned werewolves before. Think about that. Many of these cryptids, not all of them, but many of them, or maybe something masquerading as a cryptid, could be a possessed man who has been granted shape-shifting power by said entity. You have to think about that. And of course, what do you think a skinwalker is? Think about that. People who embrace the darkness, they have power. Yes, they do. Make no mistake. But I'm going to tell you right now, they have to pay one hell of a price for it. It only costs them their soul. So you have to think on this too. Whatever culture it is, there's always a warning. And that is, do not mess with things you shouldn't mess with. When it comes to demonic entities, there are many people who, or whatever it is, there are many people who are tempted by the power these things give. And I can understand that. I mean, anyone who has any common sense in their heads would understand that. But I'm going to tell you straight up, it is not wise to tinker with such things. People do not understand just how dangerous such things are. I'm telling you right now, is it worth maybe even a good part of a lifetime of, rich, powerful life? Is it worth any of that? Or whatever control you may have over others? Is it worth any of that when you're going to be literally belonging to that entity for eternity? I mean, all of us here are pretty sure familiar with, Lucifer's fall. He wanted power for himself, and look what happened to him. He's suffering eternally. There is no redemption for him. It is possible to move past the point of no return. Never forget that. Just going to go ahead and leave it at that. And like I said, whether it be Eastern, Western types of culture or philosophy, I mean, even, of course, back here in the States, you have Native American beliefs of these creatures. You have to understand that too, and believe me, they have similar stories. Look at the Wendigo. That is a spirit of gluttony. Supposedly that literally, people give into that and it warps them into a monster. I mean, you have to be aware of this, and you also have to understand that it's not worth the turnout, is what I'm trying to get across. However, as long as you stand in the light, I promise you, you will make it. I can guarantee that. Always have faith, and always keep a positive mindset, and beyond that, you have to definitely understand you cannot fight these things on your own. You can't. Maybe some people are more trained than anything I've ever seen, or have abilities that I've never seen in order to fight them. But I don't think many of them are the Son of God, if you get my drift, or God himself. Because let's leave it at this, even exorcists and priests, they have help. They are aware that they are not doing this on their own volition. They are doing it under, of course, whether it be God, Allah, Christ, whatever it is, or Buddha, or anything, whatever their belief is. They are understanding that it is not of their own power. And that is the key right there. Be aware that you yourself do not have the power, but you have the faith and the light in which, whatever your translation or religion is that translates that, remember that. And I guarantee you, follow that path. Stay away from the darkness. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here when it comes to this. I don't like speaking too much of these type of things, but I felt that this needed to be put out there. And I do apologize if I tended to ramble a little bit more than usual on this, but unfortunately I do the best I could this late at night. Okay, now you guys also know that I am the producer for Sean Graham's show, Chasing the Truth, as well as John Bell's show, the Dogman Cam's radio show. Sean, of course, he's the one that covers the paranormal and supernatural aspects of things, and John, with Dogman Cams, he's the one that covers the cryptids and the more physical side of things, at least along those lines. You guys, if y'all want to have a chance to be on either show, you know how to reach me. Reach me at wesvic@dogmancams.com. Or, those who have me as a friend on Facebook, you know how to reach me. Go ahead and leave something in my messenger or leave something in the comments under the video that I'm going to put up on YouTube here. Hit me up, and believe me, I'll make sure that your story gets heard. I promise you. I listen to everyone who tries to get in contact with me, at least to the best of my power. You guys be blessed, and y'all be safe. Take care.